Here we go, boys and girls. How about Roads, Trails, and Rabbit Holes, episode 5? I got to figure out how to smooth that in, but again, what I'm trying to avoid on this show is mixing and editing. This is live to drive. I do it, I publish it, and you know what? If I cough, belched, or anything else, you're going to hear it. It's the way I roll. Anyway, so what do we have going on this week? How about River Country did me a solid. River Country products. I'm going to throw out a big plug to those guys because I felt like they really did me right. Here's what's going on. When I first learned of River Country products, and we're going back into 2021, 22, when I first started buying gear, having watched the YouTube video I've told you about and writing down, sleeping bag, here's the budget, here's what it should weigh. I knew if I stuck to his plan, $350, which was doable, and I came in under budget, and kept the weights at or below what he said on that, I would have a base weight of supposedly 13 pounds. My base weight's a little higher than that because he left a lot of stuff out that I need or that other people would probably need that you're going to take. But it was a good video to watch. Anyway, so I had a $100 limit and 4 pounds for a tent. And the tent he used in the video was a C something. It was a one-person 4-pound, so like a $89 tent or $79 tent. I found a River Country. And I found it on YouTube. They had a tent called the Trekker 2. It used trekking poles. Now, that tent had horrible reviews. It is an A-frame tent, kind of a A-frame tent, kind of a hybrid double wall. It had single wall, front, back. The side had the typical netting, and then the walls were attached over the netting, but a little, I don't know how else to describe it, a little floppy. They're not very technically designed. So the downside of it is you couldn't get a tight pitch on those sides. There's ways I've thought about trying, but it's a 4-pound tent. I've since moved on and got one that's less than 1.5 pounds. But I loved that tent, and I have taken it. And I'll tell you what, if I was going on something overnight, I'd probably take it again because I love the room of a 2-man tent inside. I love the simplicity of the A-frame design. There's so much I love about that tent. And, if they could redesign and remanufacture that tent, and I think they could with the right materials, bring it down to 2.5 pounds and better engineer those sides so you could pitch that thing tight. I think they'd have a winner, and I would take the hit to have the roomy 2-man vented hybrid double-walled tent, I guess is what I would have to call it. That being said, I wrote them before I bought the tent because it had horrible reviews, and everybody said the same thing. Well, what River Country has released is their first batch came in and they were awful, and they're all over on Amazon. So I wrote them, you watch the reviews, and this is where I learned about, and I'm not trying to bash influencers, but for every review that said, guys, do not buy this tent, it leaks like crazy, you'd find 3 other reviews. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Here's my affiliate link. And I don't trust any Amazon reviews, period. But I knew that tent was questionable. But the answer was that first batch was bad. It was all on Amazon. We don't sell any of that. The next batch will be better. So I emailed the company. It's a little company out of, I think, Kennewick, Washington. They're up in Washington. And they create, I'll call it what it is, low-end affordable gear for people, I wouldn't say through hiking, but people doing the Pacific Crest Trail and backpacking in that part of the woods. So I admire the company. I love the West Coast. I grew up out there. It's a beautiful country. And I want to like this country. And this company. I want to like this tent because it's a A-frame, it's vented. It just attracts me because I am between my first pup tent when I was a kid and my time in the Army. Yes, I did dual service, Army and Navy. I just love the concept of the A-frame or the pup tent. Now it's got a bathtub floor and vented sides. I like it. I emailed them. They sent me back, again, the same story. The next batch is better. It should be fine right out of the box, but if I were you, I would seam seal it. So I did exactly what the people who sold me the tent told me to do. I got it home, I unpacked it, and I seam sealed it. And I have loved the tent ever since. I don't use it that often because, 4 pounds versus, a pound, 6 ounces or something with the Gossamer Gear, the one. However, it is a trekking pole tent. Both of my tents are trekking pole tents. I use trekking poles. And again, I bought these from River Country trekking poles. They were $10 each when I bought that tent. So $69, I had the tent and 2 trekking poles. Actually, I bought 2 sets of this. So it was $89 because I bought my wife a set of the trekking poles too for our day hikes and adventures, and we still do those. But here's the catch. These trekking poles weigh in, these are just aluminum, they weigh in at 10 ounces, just a hair over 10 ounces each. One weighs a little more because it's got some duct tape on it. And I'm curious because that duct tape is 4 years old. Maybe I ought to replace it before we take off here in a couple of weeks. But these have held up well. Now, Kate bought a set of cheapy Ozark Trail trekking poles from Walmart on our last trip. And one of those things kept collapsing on her. They were garbage. These, for 4 years, have held up quite well. But I will be honest, we have used the crap out of these trekking poles to the point where my tips are all the way worn through. Chris's aren't that far from it, and some of that is because when mine started wearing out more, I started using her more, just on day hikes and adventures and doing some trail hiking out at the campground and stuff. I've worn out the tips. So I go to River Country's website because I don't know if all these tips are the same. You can buy tips in stores. I just assume buy them from A, a company I like, and B, a company who made the trekking poles. They know exactly what I need. And I just shot them an email saying, I've been looking on your website. I need new tips for my trekking poles and I can't find them. Can you send me a link or tell me what to order and I will get them ordered? And I got a very nice email back the very next morning. And they said, we don't sell them on our website, but shoot me an address and we will send you them. So I sent her an email. I can't remember the gal's name. I should have looked it up before I hit record, but it is what it is. I sent her an email back and I said, thank you so much for the quick response. We have, and I'm sure they can look that up from my name. We have 2 sets of poles, so I need 2 sets of trekking pole tips. And I sent her the address, where to ship them and everything, and a big thank you. Sure enough, about 3 days later, this shows up in my mailbox. And in here are 2 sets. I'm holding up a bag. It is a UPS bag. UPS tracking. So they ship via UPS, Ground Advantage, River Country Products, Clearwater Avenue, Kennewick, Washington. And in here are 4 trekking pole tips. So we have brand new tips for our old trekking poles. But here's the deal. I mean, if I go buy a real high-end $99 a piece carbon fiber trekking pole, how much under 10 ounces is that going to be? And is it worth $180 to buy 2 of those things? I don't know. I guess it's a matter of what the $180 means to you. And I will say, for a weekend trip, these will do me fine. For a 5 to 6 day trip, these will do me fine. If I break one, I have the other one. If I break them both, I can still find 2 sticks to set up my tent. But these have endured for over 4 years, so I have total faith in them. Now with new tips on them, I am a happy camper. So thank you, River Country. That's all I've got this week. I will be back next week, and I'm trying to keep these things shorter and put out 2 or 3 of these a week. So I can't actually tell you when these will come out. I will talk to you all soon, and you have a wonderful trip, a wonderful time, a wonderful week. Stay humble, stay frosty, and embrace the suck.